When it comes to healthcare, trust is everything, isn't it? But have you ever really stopped to think about what it takes to build that kind of trust? Not just for a year, but for decades? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into by exploring the story of Arka Anugraha Hospital and their 3 decades in medicine. So that's the big question, right? How does a hospital build so much trust that people recommend it to their own kids? It's about way more than just good medicine. It really comes down to the foundation, and that's exactly where we're going to start. Okay, so a legacy of trust. I mean, it doesn't just happen by magic. It's something you have to build piece by piece, right from the very beginning. It all starts with a single, powerful idea. And that core idea, it gets crystallized into a mission. At Arka Anugraha, it's this really powerful promise to deliver modern medical treatment, but with compassion and precision. Just think about that for a second. That's a serious balancing act. And it's not just some nice-sounding slogan you see on the wall. It's the actual game plan for everything they do. Of course, a mission statement is one thing, but you need people to actually make it happen, right? So, who were the trailblazers who took this vision and turned it into a reality? Well, it all began with 2 people, Dr. Ramesh Makam and Dr. Saraswathi Ramesh. And you have to understand, they weren't just the founders who signed the paperwork. They were the architects, the very heart of this whole philosophy. Okay, and this is where it gets super interesting. Check out the dynamic between them. You've got Dr. Makam, a pioneer in these super advanced, minimally invasive surgeries. Then you have Dr. Ramesh, who's an expert in gynecology and this whole idea of holistic wellness. It's that amazing blend, cutting-edge surgery meets whole-person care, that really became their thing. And get this, they've been doing this for over 30 years. Just let that sink in. 30 years. That's an entire career spent perfecting their craft and building trust, one single patient at a time. But their influence didn't just stay within the walls of their hospital. Oh no, this number is just wow. Dr. Makam has trained more than 1,600 surgeons from all corners of the globe. That's not just being a great doctor, that's creating a legacy, spreading knowledge everywhere. And Dr. Ramesh's impact? It's equally huge. We're talking more than 3,000 surgeries. And remember, every single one of those numbers isn't just a statistic. It's a person, a family, a life that was profoundly changed. That's the kind of hands-on experience that forges unbreakable trust. Now, as incredible as they are, 2 people can't run a whole hospital. So how did they scale that original vision? Well, it grew into a whole ecosystem of experts, all working together, all driven by that same single mission. This breakdown gives you a really clear picture of how much they cover. It's basically built on 3 main pillars. First, you have the top-tier surgical experts. Then, you've got all the medical specialties you can think of, from kids to hearts. And then, there's this focus on integrative wellness, which is so important. It's literally the full package, all in one place. And here's the most important part. This isn't just a building full of talented doctors who happen to work near each other. No, it's a real team. Everyone is on the same page, pushing for that same goal the founder set out. Be the absolute best, but never ever forget to be compassionate. And look, this is where the rubber meets the road. This quote from a patient says it all, doesn't it? It nails the 2 things we've been talking about. Skilled hands, that's the precision. Compassionate approach, that's the heart. That's what trust looks and feels like. All right, so we've covered the who and the why. But what about the how? What does this all look like when you're actually a patient walking through their doors? Let's get specific and zoom in on a case study. How they handle something like polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS. So first, just a quick rundown on PCOS. It's a pretty common hormonal issue that a lot of women deal with. The thing is, it's complex. There's no magic bullet. It really needs a personalized, long-term approach, not some cookie-cutter fix. And this is their playbook, right here. You can see their entire philosophy laid out. It starts with the most important step. They listen. Then, of course, comes the detailed diagnosis. But look at step 3. That's the game changer. A custom plan that isn't just about medication. It's about diet. It's about lifestyle. And the best part? It's not a see you later situation. It's a real long-term partnership. So why should this matter to you? Well, if any of these signs sound familiar, things like irregular periods or trouble with your weight, this is basically a heads up. It might be time to get an expert opinion. It's all about connecting what you're feeling to a concrete plan. And you see, it all comes full circle back to their core belief. They're not interested in quick fixes or band-aids. The focus is always on ethical, totally transparent care that's designed for your long-term health. That's the difference between just treating symptoms and earning genuine, lifelong trust. Okay, so let's pull back for a moment. We've looked at the history, the incredible team, and their process. So what's the bottom line? It all boils down to one simple, powerful promise to every patient. Because let's be real, building trust is also about making things less stressful. And that's what this is all about. It goes beyond the amazing medical care. We're talking about the practical stuff that drives everyone crazy, like clear billing with zero hidden fees and someone actually helping you with all the insurance paperwork. That's showing you respect as a whole person, not just a medical case. And that's really the heart of it, right there. Every single piece of their system, every person, is focused on one thing: making sure your recovery is safe, smooth, and as stress-free as humanly possible. It sounds so simple, but to actually pull that off for every single patient, that takes a level of dedication that is just off the charts. So that brings us right back where we started, but now the question is for you. After seeing what it takes to build 3 decades of trust, maybe it's a good time to ask yourself, is my healthcare built on that same kind of foundation? One of real expertise, genuine compassion, and total transparency? It's definitely something we're thinking about.